Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching these videos. My name is Kamia Simon Peter, and today we're creating the Momo API. We're accessing the Momo API on Android. Okay, so there are already plugins, libraries for Android that you can use for the Momo API. So let me look for Sparkplug stroke Momo, and I guess I'll get something from the search results. So Sparkplug. Okay, so Sparkplug has something for the MTN API. I can say this is for Node, but this is not for, okay, this is for Node, this is for Python. So there are already other libraries. Okay, Sparkplug. So there are already other libraries that have been developed. When you look for Sparkplug, you get implementations and dependencies for implementations for Gradle and dependencies for Maven. But you can feel free and create your own library. However, I'm just going to go through. So that is Sparkplug. I'm just going to go through the basics, but you can use their libraries and they are free. So I'm going to create a new project, a new Android project. Oh, have I just cancelled that? Okay, so let me launch my Android again, Android Studio. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Do not forget to support us. The links are there in the description. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to go to a file and then I choose to create new project. And I'm going to call that project Momo Android. So I'll start with the basic activity, empty activity, sorry. And I'm going to call this application Momo Android. Momo Android. All right, so I'm going to divide this into 3 parts. The first part is creating a token. The other part is making a request to pay. And the third part is getting a request to pay. All right, so please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. All right, and then do not forget to go through the different videos we have, as well as support us. Now, support is the links for support are in the description. You can decide to become a Patreon. You can also reach out to me onto my social media handles. There is Poogie Code on Facebook. My WhatsApp numbers are always on the link, and also support through PayPal, Patreon, Flutterwave, and Softwave. So there are very many ways you can assist us, and also support over my channel is totally free, but the other one is just a cup of coffee to buy us internet. All right, with that said, let's go ahead. All right, so already have our activity. Let me run. Okay, so as the activity is building, I'm going to create the 3 sides into 3 classes, and the classes will have inheritance. So it's not necessary to do the inheritance, but I think it's a better way of learning. But however, different programmers have their different ways of accessing items. That is one. Secondly, in the description, you will see a link to a collection, and that will be my Momo collection, and I'll be removing some of my subscription keys and whatsoever. But however, at this moment, I guess that you've gone through the first videos, and then you have the ability to create something. So the first videos talk about testing in the sandbox, and then the other 3 videos, I think they talk about testing in Postman, and then there is raw PHP, and then there is also Laravel, and this is Android. All right, so the reason I'm talking about this is because I just want to copy this. So I'm going to also divide into 3 ways. One, I'm going to be using Postman, copy code from Postman, and the other will be getting links again using the doing in background, the Android doing background. So however, so I'll go straight to getting tokens because at this moment you already have the API key and the API user. So I'll go straight to getting tokens. Okay, and then let me first send and we see the response to make sure that our code is working well. All right, so we have unauthorized, unless I use the okay, the right one. I'm supposed to be using this one. So let's get a token. So send. All right, so you can see that we can get a token and our token expires in 600 seconds. All right, so I have to go to code right here, and then I can copy this. But before you do copy, just realize that we are using OK HTTP. Okay, so I'll go and get a link to OK HTTP. So copy this code. So I'm going to come to Android. All right, so we very well see that the AVD is running well. And then I'm going to create a new class. So I'm going to come to under Java and then right click and create a new Java class. Okay, so I'm going to get this, I'm going to call this get token. So I'm calling this class get token. All right, the class is created for us. All right, so I'm also going to create a method now, which is going to be public, sorry, public, and press caps lock. That's why I say sorry. Public token, public the token. All right, and then I close off the class. All right, so it is asking if the token should return void, but we're going to answer that. So I'm going to paste the code that I've copied from Postman, and you see we have errors already. First of all, it's asking about this. This should it create a parameter? Now we're using OK HTTP. All right. So OK HTTP. The reason I'm going to include OK HTTP is because most of us are using Postman for our testing of APIs. So if Postman is using OK HTTP, which means we must I'll drive you to OK HTTP. But however, there are other HTTP handlers for Android. So I'll go and seek about OK HTTP. Okay, and here it is. So there are others that talk about OK HTTP, but this is the official documentation. So you can read through, okay, how to use OK HTTP. But for Android, we implement as. Okay, so we look for that code where we do implement. Now I won't go through that, but I'll just borrow mine. So you can see they even provide for Kotlin and Java. Okay, so I'll just borrow from the projects that I've already created, and that's why this project is here, so that we can save time. So I'll go to gradle.build. Okay, and then I look for the implementation of OK HTTP now. All right, so if I come, here is the code for implementation. So let me copy that. Then I come to our new project, Momo Android. Then I go to gradle.build, and then I have to paste the implementation here. So there you are. So you can see implementation. You can pause the video and then you copy it. Implementation com.squareup. So you remember that this link is squareup, okay? And then com.squareup, okay, HTTP 3, then okay, HTTP 4.7.2. That's the version that we're using. All right, so now that we have okay, HTTP, we're going to resync, okay, our Gradle. All right, so which means if I come back here, now everything will be good. So You can see I'm being asked to press Alt and Enter. So Alt Enter. That has been imported here. You can see, okay, HTTP3 client. And then the same for the media type, Alt and Enter. And then for the response body, Alt and Enter. And then for the request, all these are handled by okay HTTP. So the request, the moment I press Alt and Enter, it seeked for the Gradle jar, all right, and still Alt and Enter for the response. All right, now it is giving me a warning for the execution. It just wants to add an exception for the execution. And if you look up here, the moment I press that, I've added the exception. Okay, the exception is added here in this line. All right, so we still have issues because we're supposed to return, but now we want to get what the response is, the response that is given. So we need to get our responses. We need to get the response and then we convert it to JSON, and then until we break it down. All right, so the first thing, we need to access the JSON body from the response and make it a string. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to my previous project and then look at where is the token. Okay, so let me first copy this and then I explain it. Okay. So I'm doing some of this to save time, but please feel free to go to my social media handles and then you reach out to me. All right. So this is the body, get resp body. All right. So the first part here, we are getting the response body. Okay. So get response body. So we're getting the response body and making it a string. So remember that it has returned the response here. Okay, so the body in the response, what does that mean? If I come, this is the body that is coming from the response, and that body has an access token. All right, so the body of the response, okay, and then you make it a string. Therefore, we get the body of the response and then we make it a string. Now, I'm going to first comment this. We make an object of the JSON class. So JSON object, and the name is object. So the object that is coming from the response. So you can see what what I'm changing. Okay, so resp. Okay, and then we must import. We add an exception for the JSON here. Okay, so up here we must have an exception for the JSON. So add signature method. Okay, and you can see that JSON has been added here. Okay, and then so here we are getting so we are accessing the JSON object. So we are turning in fact the word is we are turning, we are creating the response to a JSON object. Now it's up to you, but you can even make it a JSON array. Okay, that's up to you. So out of that JSON object, we want to access a string called access token. Okay, so if I come to Postman, remember this is the access token, which is already a string, and then we're going to create a string out of it. So which means you can also get the content type and then expires in. All right, so we're just going to do that in a snap. Okay, so we can get the access token. I'm going to copy this and then get the rest, for example, 2 and then 3. So for example, we can have the access token and then we can have, let me check, the token type, token underscore type. So we're already now accessing the items in the JSON body. and then the other is expires in, expires underscore in. So expires in, okay, expires in. So these are just string variables, but I can get them again here. So token type, and then expires in. All right, so I'll just do, and then if you want to get the response, here's the response, which is 200. Okay, still you come and you now get a string value of the response code. So response.code. So the other one was response.body, and then this one is response.code. So the only thing I do is get a string value. So string of status, and then the string.value. Remember, the value is in integers of response.code. All right, so I'm going to do a system.out for the token. Okay, so what I usually do is add these so that I can clearly see it out of the very many things that come from there. So plus, I'm adding a concatenation plus this. So plus and then plus this. All right, so the first thing is add that. And this one will be, first of all, for the access token. Token. So token is that. And then the other will be, okay, token type. Token type. And then, so token type is still token type, token underscore type. And then the other will be expires in. Okay, this is expires in. Expires in, and then the variable is expires in. Right, and then the other will be the response code. So response code will be, okay, status. Status is the variable. All right, so down here I need to return, so I'll just make this public static. Okay, and then down I need to return. So I need to return a string. I just want to return a string. So return. What am I returning? I'm returning the token. I'm just returning a token, but it will print everything that we have. So I'm returning a token, and this token must be a string. So make the token a string up here. So I've added a string. Now, even when I send this, we're going to have nothing working because we need to add something to help us, okay, to help us work with the internet. Okay, so that's why I may not be seeing the token here. That is 1, 2. We're going to use inheritance, and this class extends, first of all, extends main activity. Okay, so I'll run again. All right, so I need to add the internet into my manifest. So which will be Android. Okay, use permission, and then internet, and then close the tag. Okay, so I'll be sending again, restarting the application. I'll just clear that. Okay, the application must be running. All right, so I need to have my items printed here. And for this, I'll just copy. So I wasn't having the items printed in the main code. First of all, I'll create an object for the class, that is the get token class. I want to make it final because it's constant. Final get token. I'll call it get, and then it is equal to a new get token. Okay, then I'll try and get a get dot, and inside the get token class we have a method, which method is called the token. Okay, so you can see the token is here. This is the method that we're trying to access, and then we give it a try and catch exception. All right, from the try and catch exception, we need to have an async task. So I have the object here, but we may see nothing run because this whole method will be running through the main activity. So you can see we have loads of errors here. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to create an async task, and you can see our AVD crashed here. So I'll just go and copy this from the other. Okay, so I already created it here. Okay, so here's the async task, and it runs with the background, doing background object, since we didn't do it the other side. That's why I talked about the other method, the other way of working it out. So an async task, and then I need to return, okay, I need to return nothing, return null, and then execute. So dot execute. Am I putting the execute onto the right? Okay, so which means we have one last issue here, one curly brace. So which means this dot execute is supposed to be onto this dot execute. All right, so we are executing what is provided in the asynchronous task, and then let's do a run now. All right, so you can see that we have our access token, okay, and then the type is here, and then the status is 200. All right, so just to do a recap, I created a class, okay, get token, and then from the class get token, I extended it to the main activity so that I can print out from inheritance. Then I created a method, and the method is called the token. Now the token, I added these items from Postman. I copied them from Postman and then pasted them here. So on pasting, there are certain few things I just did. First of all, I made sure that I clear all regs by coming to grad.build, and then I implement okay HTTP as used by Postman. Then after then, okay, and then if you want, the link will be in the description. And then after then, now at this time I'm not worrying about the keys whatsoever that I'm using or other different variables. However, I've put them in the open here, but you may have to create a private class where you access such things as this key, okay, in a variable, and then the basic token here, because all these are constants that never change. All right, then we got the response, okay. Then after getting the response, I did a string to convert the response body, okay, as shown here, okay, into a string. So after getting the response body converted into a string, I created a JSON object. And in that JSON object, I added this item here that is in a string into the new JSON object. And then I accessed the token as here, which is called the access token in this object. Okay, remember this is an object different from a JSON array. Into that object, so I accessed it and then got the access token, got the access token type, and then also the duration of expiring. And then after getting the time of expiry, I returned a token that is a string. So some of these things are built here. So I returned this. I made sure that this returns a string, or it could have returned void. That is also true, but I made sure that it returns a string. And then there are other exceptions for the JSON exception and the exception for HTTP response here. So then when you go to the main activity, we need to have a do in background, okay? So I created a new async task, accessing the async task object, and then created an override of the do in the background so that I can do the access token since I didn't do it here. Otherwise, I could also have the do in the background method here, and then I get the post execution, and then I execute it from there. But I called it from here by doing a do in the background, and then I did an execute. So the post, I would have posted the other items to the object in case I had a component, an Android component here. But hope I've done a good explanation. So we shall meet. Let's meet in the next video where we now make a request to pay. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Do not forget to subscribe.